Shore wrote a book called Affect Regulation and the Formation of the Self. Affect Regulation and the Formation of the Self. He then wrote another book called Affect Dysregulation and the Troubles of the Self, or the Disorders of the Self. And I think his third book was called Affect Dysregulation and the Healing of the Self. But everything in his model was based on this important, incredibly important foundational stage in the formation of the self, which all happened in the non-dominant hemisphere of the brain. That it was all non-dominant hemisphere. That when the right brain, I'm going to use that phrase, pardon me if you're left-handed, but generally speaking, we've talked about the dominant hemisphere as the left hemisphere and the non-dominant hemisphere as the right hemisphere. So I'll use right brain. If you're left-handed, it's just the opposite. But what has become totally clear is that the place that affect, and I'm going to make a distinction here, affect is the technical word for a genetic program of which I believe with Sylvan Tompkins we have 9. We have 9 genetic programs. We have 9 innate affects, starting with the affect curiosity. I mean, if you want to think of that as the life, another way to think of that is the life force. That's the first thing you notice about any baby is they're curious. The first affect is curiosity, and then a second affect is joy, pleasure. A third innate affect is surprise, startle. I'm kind of giving the range. The healthy affect is surprise. It might be unhealthy if a child was startled all the time. And so then you have anger as an innate affect, and the extreme of that is rage. You have fear, and the extreme of that is terror. Let's see. So anger, fear, sadness, distress. The extreme of that would be acute distress. So you have kind of 6 primary affects. And then this is the work, I'm quoting the work here of Sylvan Tompkins, who did this work in 1960 to 65, and then took pictures of people in these affects because he felt that the primary place that the affect manifests is the face. He also found that there is a characteristic vocalization of every affect. So there's a sound that goes with every affect. Interestingly enough, the sound that goes with shame is silence. Because people just freeze. That to be exposed when you're not ready to be exposed and have all eyes on you with no defense causes a person to just absolutely be unable to speak. And it's a very, very powerful, terrible experience.